the podcast show. I'm your host, Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Andy. Andy, how you doing tonight?
Yo.
And we are also joined by Alex. Alex, how you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And we are here with the episode 13 recap show, and bless the Lord, it's a 60-minute episode. It was great, but it was kind of out of nowhere. Didn't even know it was coming, so it felt good, felt very fast. It was an all right episode, I would say. I really enjoyed the elimination. The challenge might have been just a tad a bit overhyped, I would say. I don't know. Embrace debate. But yeah, initial thoughts. I thought it was más o menos episode. Andy, Alex, take it away. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it was another one that just kind of felt weird because we had no idea that it was going to be an hour. I don't think, in judging from some of the Twitter reaction and whatnot, I don't think like anybody really was expecting a 1 hour. So you throw in like the chopped up episode, starting right away with the challenge. And I feel like I'm not usually one to complain about commercials, but I feel like there was a ton this episode. So I feel like it was just a weird episode. I would say the first 40 minutes below average. The elimination, I think, kind of picked it up and ended it on somewhat of a strong note. But I'm looking forward to the Challenge Madness segment at the end. I'll be thinking about that the whole recap. But overall, I would say average episode.
Yeah, Andy, what was your thoughts?
Well, I really resonate with the commercial aspect because I brought that up last week during our recap. It wasn't anything special, but at the same time, the fact that it was an hour is a big bonus in my book because we did see elimination challenge and elimination in an hour, a little bit of drama, but not the best. I mean, in terms of what we saw within that hour, it wasn't amazing, but the fact that MTV probably could have drawn it out if they would have drawn this out another 30 minutes, I would have turned it over to college basketball. So at least they had the, I guess, wherewithal to keep it at an hour, and that didn't make me hate it. I didn't love it, but I also didn't hate it.
The only plus side that I have with tonight's episode is thank God it wasn't dragged to 90 minutes. Like the 60-minute time slot was perfect for this kind of episode. Wouldn't you say so?
I think I just did.
God, is the delay that bad?
It was a pleasant surprise, and it got because I think the last episode was the one where they started from the to be continued, so it kind of got us back on the rhythm without necessarily dragging out this one and throwing a bunch of stuff in the middle, so that it still would have ended where it ended. But yeah, I mean, this episode was better being an hour than an hour and a half.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So let's just dive right into the episode with the recap. So the episode starts out and like we dive right straight into the challenge, which I like. We're no bullshit, no talking, literally straight in, which was nice. Then what do we think about this challenge? In chat, join in. Like, what did you guys think? Because I thought it was kind of a weird, like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say because it felt like it was just kind of all over the place. It was just kind of like, let's throw this piece in and let's throw this piece in and let's throw this piece in and then let's just make it dark to make it look spooky and stuff. Like the whole dark aspect had nothing to do with it. Like you could have just had this, a day like in the day and it would have been fine. One thing I did notice, I thought it was really classic with Kyle with the great opening line saying with Nam's testicles. Very underrated line. Trying to think of what else happened, but what did you guys think?
I think so far this season, even the worst challenges have been average. I think this one was a bad challenge. Like it was the way they built it up last episode, just really nothing happened. And I think a lot of that is the fact that so many people have goals and feel like they don't have a whole lot to really play for. Because if you think about it, there's only 6 teams in the cage. We got the winner, Leroy and Casey. Gabby and Corey, were close second place, I guess. But the 4 other teams tried half-ass at best. Yeah. And like that, just no matter what the challenge is, when you have that many people just not really trying, you're gonna have a bad challenge.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. It was a bad challenge for all the reasons that you said. It gave me vibes of the drone challenge, but different because the drone, only one team completed it. But everyone still tried, but everyone's an idiot. For this one, no one tried at all. Like, that's a bad challenge. That's a very bad challenge. Like, why not make it something that, you don't drag it out over the course of a night and it's not a nightmare and, like, you're in hell. Why do that if no one's going to do anything? Like, why not just why not do trivia again? You already fucked up the first one. Like, try to redeem yourself. A little redemption house for the challenge. But I thought it was a bad challenge. Good for Leroy and Casey to win, but bad challenge in my book too.
This exact challenge would have done much better if they did it 6 episodes ago.
Definitely.
And a lot of people had to actually try. Trev, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like in correct me if I'm wrong. Was tonight like the first? Was tonight the first eating challenge at all this season?
I think so.
Was it? That might be one for the chat to remind us with. But I believe it was, and I'm kind of surprised. How many people? 6 teams participated, so 12 people tonight only.
Yeah.
And I think those challenges are so much better when you have like the 24 people left, or when you see a ton of people doing it. So much more content, and so much more you can do with it. So yeah. That's all I really have to say. Kind of disappointing, but I mean, it is the challenge and the producers. I mean,
yeah, and I feel like they just built up the last preview where the episode ended last week to so much more than this. And I know we compared it to that Rivals challenge where they had to stand on the boxes all night. That one was so much better than this. And I think part of it might be just because they didn't do the dark at night, scary vibe. Like, you could see everybody. Like, this one was just weird. And then right when you got the vibe that nobody was really trying, there was just nothing that could redeem it at that point.
Yeah.
So, question for you guys, because it just got brought up in the chat. What's worse, quitters or throwing a competition?
Quitters.
I kind of view them as one and the same. If you quit the show or if you quit, I think quitting the shows is worse. Like, throwing something like this is like a strike, but I think you get multiple strikes. If you just straight up quit, I think that's you should not be allowed back on the show.
I think
they're both bad. They're both bad. Like, they both piss me off. But quitting is next level.
I think throwing a challenge though can be very strategic though.
Could be.
Right.
And and I think that's why you got to lean towards, quitting the actual show. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Bananas a few years ago? I mean, he's notorious for throwing challenges for his team to lose. I think the one was he was basically tackling Ashley.
Yeah.
No, it was slippery. He slipped or something.
Yeah, he slipped or whatever. Yeah, stuff like that. So very classic with that. So anything else with this challenge? Leroy and Casey won. Some of those math problems, very surprised, they actually got those correct. We've kind of bumped up from the 9 times 3 of the worlds to, I forget what it was, 120 something times 3 or 6 or whatever. So props to them for,
Well, they had some help though.
Oh, obviously, but
I am willing to bet a lot of money that if you were to put that equation in front of Corey and said, if you complete this in 10 minutes, you win the challenge.
No chance.
Not winning the challenge.
No chance.
No chance. I think Riker would have a better chance of answering it correctly than him. Ryder. Sorry, classic mix.
Ryder.
All right.
That really was it for the challenge, right?
Yeah, it was fast. I think it was very overhyped. The whole darkness. Very similar to this is the scariest elimination of all time from Rivals 2S. That's what I got out of it.
It ended, and my first thought was, is that it?
I thought it was part 1. Okay, now let's see the next team qualify or something. It wasn't an all night thing. Yes, the medicine ball holding for 2 hours. 2 hours could be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I just love stopwatch or whatever. It's just like 1:59:59, 2 hours, 2:01. All right, everyone done. You can stop. You can go eat now or whatever.
It's border like being at the gym, just doing some curls. Oh, 1001, 1002.
Absolutely. So, like we said, Leroy and Casey, win. And then after that, we kind of get – what else do we get, Alex? Just kind of the relationship of –
Yeah, but between that and the elimination, I think you mainly had everything that led into the elimination, like Fessy, spitting game with Gabby.
Yeah.
The thing I was confused about is why Tori got brought up so much.
Producers, they're just stirring the pot.
Stirring the pot?
She's been gone forever.
I know, but obviously they knew stuff was going on back home and stuff like that. I mean, they know that shit. So, what do you mean? They know like everything.
I don't know.
God. I don't know. But
I was surprised they brought it up now because she hasn't really been mentioned since she's been off the show. So it was a bit odd, but at the same time, the fact that she just got brought up with Fezzi, and it was just like the fact that was, think about it, the hypothetical relationship between Fezzi and a girl who's no longer on this episode, that was like the most drama that we had.
yeah.
How pathetic is that?
Yeah, absolutely. But can we just bring up, and I love that I know the chat just loves it, is Fezzi's relationship, his talking game. I mean, it's horrible. Like,
It's so bad.
Brutal.
It's almost worse than his performance at the University of Tennessee. And like he does such a bad job of it. He stands in the corner, he's like, I want girl to twerk on me, baby. Like he literally does nothing and it just looks so stupid. And I don't know how Gabby Chattanooga does anything like that. It's just so stupid.
Well, he's like a bear. He's like a bear.
Yeah.
I do want to welcome.
Wait. Sorry. Before I interrupt. That challenger writes, his Instagram bio literally reads 6'5", former 2-time Division I All-American. There's no way that's his bio. There's no way. I'm looking this up.
I'm going to fact check.
I want to trust that challenger. I do also want to welcome. Looks like we got a new person in the chat, Jody. Jody, we got a good crew in the chat. You'll get to like.
I think he might have blocked me. Why is he not coming up? I don't see him anywhere.
Just start. I would go to the University of Tennessee page, and then
he's got to be like a game day graphic, for one of them,
Yeah.
It does do that. What?
Did the bio say that?
Yes, I'm reading it right now. It does say that.
Two-time All-American of what?
Well, timeout, boys and girls. I think that's accurate.
Oh, come on.
Two-time All-American and 3-time All-Southern Conference tight end.
Stop it.
Was he nice?
God.
His numbers were not nice. I mean, well, think about the competition when you're going against University of Tennessee. I mean, I can't even imagine.
What are you talking about? They play
Chattanooga. It's probably like University of Florida.
Wait.
Clearwater. Like, come on.
I mean, he's got hops.
Yeah, and yet he was too scared to go into a physical elimination against James.
So look. This is his athlete page, right? The rest is just him like working out and stuff.
Yeah, because Fezzi is sick.
God.
And if you don't know he's sick, he'll tell you he's sick.
But then he'll also tell you that he's introverted and humble.
Yes.
Better than the actual dunk contest this year.
All right. I'm ready to move on from Fezzi.
Oh, I was kind of liking the shit on Fezzi talk.
Wait. Hey, Andy, how would Lolo do in the elimination versus the girls? Lolo, right, because she's an Olympic athlete.
I mean, she should have dominated. she's definitely going to have the sprint, the jump, the reach, but she probably would have cried, and it probably would have been Nam's fault.
Jody writes that he should have gone to the NFL, but blew out his knee. Okay. Blew out his knee? All right.
Yeah. And I was going to be in the NFL till I fucked up my shoulder.
God. All right. Let's move on from Fezzy and talk about someone else.
So at this point, I feel like in the house, everybody was kind of in agreement because they even showed this when they got to deliberation. Nani wanted to go in, Gabby wanted to go in, and that was basically it. They agreed that the house would vote in Gabby and Corey because Leroy was close enough to Nani to like toss her a bone. And then they kind of obviously foreshadowed the whole Anissa not wanting to lose Fezzy.
Who?
And I mean, that was it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it was kind of just really fast. You know, it all went by in a flash. So, Andy, what I still want to just, keep poking the bear with you with this one. What do you think? You can't hear me?
No. What do you got?
Yeah. Nope. I was just going to ask you, what do you think his next move is, Fezzy, in this game? Now that his piece is gone, he's got a new partner.
His boo thing is gone.
Sorry.
Such a douchebag. In terms of well, that's the thing. I mean, he sucks. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe he tries hitting on Nani because we've talked about Nani's. I mean, Nani's not one to shy away from the guys on the challenge.
Yeah, that is true. That challenger writes, and this is the last thing, and then we can continue. Sorry, Alex. I know you're getting a little upset. What about Cam giving all the answers and not competing? I mean, this would be kind of the whole, quitting thing that we brought up.
I don't blame her too much for helping out Leroy.
I think it's smart strategy.
Yeah, I blame her more for quitting in the first place than helping Leroy.
Absolutely.
It's on a far less impactful scale than when Wes gave D an elimination win.
Yes,
yeah,
that is true.
That was bad. The challenge fucked up because Wes literally won.
All right, Alex, take it away. Where were we?
I think we can go right to elimination.
Already?
There wasn't anything else.
Tell me what else there is.
I don't know.
So the elimination, they tell us that Gabby and Corey are going down. I mean, they showed us that, but Gabby and Corey going down. Leroy and Casey vote in. Kyle and Nani. And again, TJ does the fucking fake twist. How many times has he done this where he says, I've told you guys to expect the unexpected. And then they cut to a couple confessionals where they're like, oh my God, am I going to go in? And then they go back to him and he says, but today it's a girls' elimination day. What?
It's just stupid. It's so stupid.
I would argue that the twist they pulled tonight in terms of the episode being an hour was a bigger twist than almost anything they've done this season.
I agree.
And all these fake twists, they say they play it up and nothing ever happens. And TJ words it the exact same way every time. So that just kind of pissed me off. But I think at this point, 13 episodes in, nobody was really surprised by it. But so we get he says it's a girls' elimination day, Nani and Gabby. So what do we think about the matchup as it kind of relates to the exact elimination that they did? Because I feel like this was just an even matchup, and I mean it was 2-1. It couldn't have been more even in this round. But I feel like Nani and Gabby are a very even challenge competitor in this type of challenge.
Yeah, I thought this was a very close matchup, and honestly, I thought Gabby winning the first round, I thought she had it in the bag. I mean, that first round was more of more physical. They were both going at it compared to the other two rounds, and Gabby was dragging her, through the sand and stuff. And it was easy for her. Then you come out in the second one, and it kind of looked like, she kind of just gave up at the end. I don't know if you saw that. Like, she kind of just, like, let go, and she kind of, like, went back, Nani did, and just popped it on. And then the third one, she just got juked out. Like, like, I don't even know what happened. But
someone said in the chat that Gabby threw the elimination.
I did see that.
I did not get that impression. Like, granted, there could be there could be chatter of that on the World Wide Web, but I did not get that impression just by watching it. What about you two?
I didn't see it either.
I didn't either.
I thought she was going at it, especially that first round. I mean, I don't think she would have been going that hard if she was trying to throw it and winning that first round.
Yeah. So the first round, Gabby wins, and then I feel like the one thing though, and this isn't a surprise of the challenge producers, is I think you could start to tell by Nani's confessionals that she wasn't going to lose, because they showed like a few of them where she was like, I'm losing, I'm down one round, but like I keep telling myself like I can't lose this, like I keep remembering how much I've lost in the past, and like I can't let myself lose and all this stuff. So, but I mean, again, that's like expected at this point. But I feel like, and then the third round I thought was awesome, just in terms of they come back from commercial, it's tied 1-1, of clearly a very even matchup. And then they start playing Living on a Prayer, right as Nani's like reaching for the thing. And then she does a little juke move, which was awesome. And then she gets to the end. And it's always good to see a veteran come out on top.
Honestly, I can officially say after watching Nani's juke move tonight, that's a better juke move than Fezzi did in all of college combined. Just throwing that out there.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I thought I got an early impression on, and I've always wondered this when they do the like post-elimination or post-challenge confessionals. Nani kind of gave it away. Like in one of the early confessionals in the elimination, like during the elimination, she was like, you know what? Like I knew I just had to get more fight in me, and I knew tonight was going to be that night. And it was just like, what? Like usually they say like, I've got to dig down, I've got to try harder, but like don't allude to it. And she like said that she was going to go out and win it. And it was just like, what? After the first round.
When I was going to ask you guys this, and the chat's going to have to help. What was Nani's last elimination win? Because she's come back, in the past few seasons. She definitely didn't win one last year on Total Madness. I
Definitely
don't think
beat Georgia.
Was that who she lost to on? Oh, that was War of the Worlds 1 with the tape.
Yeah.
One?
She lost to somebody else on War of the Worlds 2.
She lost in the grabbing the pieces off the, like they had like the flags on one another and you had to grab it all.
Yes. Who was that?
I want to say it's like a blonde chick too.
Was it Ninja?
No.
Was it somebody on UK or US?
I think it was UK.
Not Ginny.
No.
Was it not Tori, right?
Melissa. It was Melissa. Loved by You.
No, Melissa wasn't on that season.
Oh, then maybe it was last year she lost in the flag one.
Yeah. Last year is what she lost.
Yes, Loved by You. We're on the same page.
But War of the Worlds 2, she lost to Ash.
No, in War of the Worlds 2, she lost to, what's her name, I thought?
Tori?
No, Georgia. And then I thought she lost to
Ashley, Georgia, Melissa. Boogie Brown confirmed.
So last season was Melissa.
Yeah. Georgia was last year, or War of the Worlds 2.
No, Georgia was the tape, wasn't she?
Was that War of the Worlds 2?
Yeah.
No, that was War of the Worlds 1.
I thought she made the finals in War of the Worlds 1.
War of the Worlds 2, she lost to somebody that I can't recall the elimination at all.
Dude, all these seasons have been blending together. I don't know.
So I'm still not sure who she lost or who she last beat in an elimination. And I don't know.
Maybe with bananas, honestly. As crazy.
No, I think it was Rivals 3.
Yeah, with Wes, probably.
Yeah, I think her and Wes won a couple. I have no idea who beat her on War of the Worlds 2.
All right, Nani sucks at eliminations. What else we got?
God.
All right, so Nani wins the elimination. Gabby goes home. And we got a couple new teams. So Nani wins, so she gets first pick. She picks Fezzi, sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Not a surprise. I mean, an obvious choice for her, and it was just foreshadowed the entire time. So then it goes to Anissa. I think Anissa made the right choice. Oh, that's right, the puzzle. All right. Anissa made the right choice by picking Kyle instead of Corey, I think just because of the fact that he had a skull, which she said. She said that was why. I think Kyle and Corey are overall very, very even competitors. And if she would have picked Corey, they would have played up, them hooking up in the past and all that. But I think she definitely made the right choice picking Kyle, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
She picks Kyle, and then that leaves Big T to be partners with Corey. So the curse continues.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way this actually still happens, right?
What still happens?
God. Good to see Claudia in the chat tonight. What else we got?
What?
I'm saying, what else we got?
You asked us a question, and then you were just starry-eyed over Claudia.
Oh, yeah. Me and Claudia, we go way back. They call us the way back boys.
All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts on the episode or the elimination? At this point, we have 6 teams left. 6 and 6.
This just seemed very, we just got to keep the ball moving. It was like, let's not do anything flashy. Let's not try to start any new storylines. Let's just have someone leave, someone get a skull, and move on.
Yep.
Which was a huge shame because I think we were all kind of hoping for a good episode tonight, and we did not get it.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I keep thinking about as it relates to kind of the rest of the season and how good or bad it might be is the whole skull twist. Because at this point, Corey and Big T, they're on a team now, I guess, together. They're the only 2 without a skull. And I'm just very interested to see how that plays out. Because I think after last season, we said that twist was a bust because nobody got sent home without a skull in Total Madness. And I'm feeling like it's going to play out that way in this season too. You know what I mean? Just because there's what, 6 episodes left, and I don't know. I feel like they might just they might figure it out next episode, and then all the 5 guys and all the 5 girls next episode that are left all have skulls. So then, I don't know. I feel like that was my LVP last season, was the skull twist for the whole season, and I don't want it to be this season, but I feel like we might be heading there again.
I don't know.
I ain't mad at that. I think that could very well be the case.
I think the chat is in an agreement with me and Alex. We want this to absolutely die. Never again, everybody's saying.
I agree. I'm in the same boat.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted the skull twist again. Oh, I thought you just said. I thought me and Alex were on the same page there.
No, I think we're all on the same page.
Okay. Sounds good.
A tape quake. Okay.
Well, I think part of it depends on how this twist plays out. If it plays out how it's probably going to play out, where nobody gets cut off, then yeah, 100% get rid of it. And even then, I don't know. It just kind of depends. But I think it's like last season they tried it out for the first time. This season they brought it back and they kind of adapted it by saying there's only going to be 5 and 5. But if it again ends up being the same exact thing, then scrap it. Scrap it for good. Don't try it again. But we'll get into that in a couple weeks or something.
It's one of those things where I think they did it because I get why they did it, because people were scared to go in eliminations.
Yeah.
But people have always been scared to go in eliminations. Like, that's not new. But when you have alliances that form, that's how you start playing the politics game. And that's been awesome to watch over the past couple of decades. And again, it's one of those things where the challenge is trying to do too much. Lay out a basic format, because guess what? The Brits and the rookies and the veterans, and like, there are naturally going to be different teams that form that try to pick each other off. And if you skate through and don't see an elimination, that's a damn good season. Good for you. So, like, don't force it. Like, you've got a good thing going. Like, the Skull was a unnecessary twist that they have just been, this has to be the last time. I don't know if it will, but I really hope it is.
Yeah, and I think they mainly introduced it when they did because it came off of War of the Worlds 2, when practically everybody in the final skated to the final without going into elimination.
Mm-hmm.
And so it reminds me of when the NFL, when they had that pass interference that wasn't called against the Saints, and they introduced, like, you can challenge the pass interference the next season. They overreact to these things that happen, and it just doesn't solve the problem. It just causes another one.
They just need to do pair teams and say that there's not going to be any changing. They need to bring back some proven successful model of a season that has paired teams, and they say there's not going to be any backstabbing, there's not going to be any changing of teams. These are your teams, this is your partner for the season. There's going to be a challenge, there's going to be elimination, last one alive wins. Not $1 million, because I've told you that's one of the issues with the challenge. Last team splits $500,000.
Honestly, what the chat's saying, let's bring back the kill card. Who says no to that?
Is that the thing from Free Agents?
Yes, Jordan flipping all of them over. That's awesome, because anybody's on the table.
I'm not mad at that.
People forget, Frank won 2 eliminations and never got eliminated and went home third.
Oh, we'll get into that in our segments.
Frank, best teammates of all time, Frank and the kill card.
Watch it.
All right, what else we got? Anything else?
I mean that was it. I think on the episode, like we said from the top, it was an hour long, a lot of commercials, not a lot to recap.
Yeah,
a week challenge, a good elimination, average drama. I think we did the best we can.
Yeah. So segments.
I think we're ready. First segment of the night should be a quick one. Is who's Corey's partner?
Gabby is his partner.
Yeah. No.
I thought it was one of the Ambers.
One of the Ambers.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit, that's who it was. All right, so
Yeah.
Corey is matched with Amber in tonight's segment of who's Corey's
It
partner.
was one of the Ambers, but then now he's Rogue.
Is he Rogue?
I
Alright.
think he's Rogue because the girl went home somehow. One of the Ambers probably went home.
All right, so
Probably
Corey's
quit.
partner is definitely Big T.
Are we sure?
For now.
So are we going with big?
Corey.
That team is Big Corey for now.
Big Tory.
Yes. Big Corey.
Big Tory. Oh, no. Justin has it. It's Jenna. Jenna and Corey. That's who it is. They're back. Who's back in the week? Jenna and Corey.
People forget that's who Zach saw in Jenna's DMs when he was FaceTiming her.
That is true. It's all full circle now.
But now they're having a baby boy.
All full, everything. New kids on the way. Is it even Zach's kid at this point?
We'll see when it
Wow.
comes out.
God.
God.
All right, cut the shit. Let's get back on the train.
We got a big segment now.
Whoa.
Yep.
Trev, you want to pull it up?
What am I supposed to have pulled up?
the official 2021 Challenge Madness bracket.
Wow.
So just for all of our regulars in the chat tonight and anybody listening on the podcast, we actually did a selection show for this bracket yesterday. So if you haven't listened to this podcast, go ahead and listen to that. We just kind of reveal the bracket that we're about to go through right now. Basically, this segment, Challenge Madness, we're going to do.
All right, you kind of jumped the gun. I wasn't ready. So
We're doing Challenge Madness every week. We have the category this year is Best Challenge Teams. So we have 32 pairs on the bracket. The three of us, we seeded them, but you guys are going to be the deciding factor on who moves on. So if you are listening to this now, go to Twitter @StirThePod, cast your vote. We have all the votes there on the pinned tweet, all 16 matchups. So the polls are going to be open from Wednesday afternoon to Thursday afternoon. Go get your vote in, and then the segment tonight that we're about to get into is we're just going to debate all of the first round matchups here.
Wow. Dare we just dive right in?
Let's do it. We got 16 matchups. We're going to spend more time on some than others, but what's the first one we got, Trev?
So we're going to head over to the Dome region. And if you guys want to listen, we had a full selection show release yesterday. If you want to listen to all our picks and see who we did. I think you just said that, but I'll just say it anyway. So our number one overall team was Emily and Paula. So as you can see, they are taking on Wes and Nani. Alex, should we give them the official update right now?
Emily and Paula are going against Jin and Noor.
Who did I just say they were going against? Sorry.
Wes and Nani. Wes and Nani aren't even in this region.
I was reading Wes and Nani on there. I'm so sorry. Emily and Paula.
All right. First matchup, I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on Emily and Paula versus Jin and Noor. That's Emily and Paula 99 times out of 100, right?
Absolutely. Right now, the voting is very in favor of Emily and Paula. So moving on to the next section, we got CT and Adam being a 4 seed taking on Bananas and Frank. I think this is a really good matchup. I don't know what you guys think. 56% of the votes are for CT and Adam right now, and 44% of the votes are with Bananas and Frank. So very competitive.
Good matchup, close results.
Yeah. I would say the results kind of fair how I would expect it to, because I don't think Bananas and Frank are a scrub by any means. But you think about what really it comes down to for CT and Adam is just the impact on the game that they had. Everybody was scared of them. They beat Evan and Nehemiah. I think they won a challenge or two. Overall, I think CT and Adam should win this. They're winning right now. Bananas and Frank, they got the silver, good for them, but I think CT and Adam, you remember them from Rivals.
Yeah. So the next matchup we got is the 3 seed Jordan and Sarah taking on Leroy and Naya. And I think this is a really good matchup, but I'm a little surprised by the results. Jordan and Sarah are off to a 66% lead over Leroy and Naya. So I think
that doesn't surprise me too much.
I thought Leroy and Naya is a very underrated team. Obviously, they didn't compete with each other for the final because Naya was disqualified. But the eliminations they were in, they dominated. And, I mean, they were just a really good team.
Yeah, I think Leroy and Naya as a 6 seed is a very good underdog. I think what almost hurts this one the most for them, though, is that they're going against a 3 seed that was on their same season. Like Jordan and Sarah did better than them because they were on the same season. I think if they would have had a better matchup, maybe first round, they could have snuck by, but I think they definitely had a very underrated resume. But I mean, Jordan and Sarah, they were champions in a very good season.
Yeah, Andy, any lasting stuff from that?
No, I was a big fan of Jordan and Sarah. I think 3 seed might even be too low, honestly. So I see them advancing. I think they're a very good team.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming in the last spot, we got Evelyn and Paula taking on Bananas and Nani. Another 2 seed that is kind of dominating over a 7 seed. So that is our Dome region. Any lasting remarks from the Dome region?
I don't think so. I mean, it looks like we're going to have the higher seed in all 4 matchups. So we'll have some good matchups there, I think, next week. But overall, straight chalk.
Yeah. So looking at the jungle region, we have the number 1 overall seed, Coral and Evan, taking on Wes and Nani. And Coral and Evan are off to a 64 to 36% lead. Not really surprising there. Kind of we talked about it yesterday, and you guys should definitely go listen to our podcast on the Select Show. But they are kind of the team that the best that never was. They had so much potential. They won 5 daily challenges out of 6 episodes they were on before injury, dominating the game. So very strong team. Any other things you guys got on that matchup?
I don't think so. I mean, I think Wes and Nani never really stood a chance. Coral and Evan, like we talked about in our selection show Sunday, they might be the first 1 seed to drop off, but I don't think they were ever going to lose this round.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the next matchup, we got Jordan and Marlon taking on Vince and Jenna. And Jordan and Marlon's one of those teams that I really enjoy. It's kind of both those guys' rookie seasons kind of dominating. Not really. I'll take back dominating. Kind of did a really good job through. And then Vincent Jenna's kind of, I don't want to say rode Bananas' coattails, but kind of did. I still think he would have done a really good job on the season, but obviously having Johnny there helped him out tremendously. Andy, what do you think about this matchup?
This is interesting. I'm very curious to see how this one shakes out because Jordan and Marlon, both teams, very impressive seasons. Both of them went far. Both of them, I think, outperformed expectations. For different reasons. So I'm curious to see what the AWLs respond with here. But I love me some Jordan and Marlon, even though I love me some Jenny.
Wow. Alex, anything on this matchup?
It's a great matchup. It looks like it's about 70-30 right now. I think we're all very high on a 4 seed, Jordan and Marlon. If they end up winning, that second round matchup will be very interesting next week. And I think Jordan and Marlon might be the only all-rookie team that we have on here. Probably another couple.
I know of at least one.
Mike and Leroy.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
But yeah, overall, Jordan and Marlon have arguably one of the best just straight-up rookie performances of all time. They won 2 eliminations, finished 3rd in the final, only to CT, Les, Bananas, those guys. So overall, I'm just looking ahead to the next round. Honestly, I think we have a very good matchup in store there.
So here's our first matchup that's on Upset Watch.
I know
Boogie Brown's going to be a little upset at this one. Landon and Carly are currently trailing to Ashley and Hunter, 45% to 55%.
Wow.
Still time left, 15 hours left. So go vote on Stir the Pod Twitter. So very close matchup. I cannot believe it's this close. I thought Landon and Carly would dominate, but the newer generation voting, they don't appreciate how good Landon was, and it's a real shame.
It is a real shame.
God, is that it?
There's some portion of the 55% that have voted for Ashley and Hunter, and it's kind of sad to say this, but there's some portion of that who literally have no idea what Landon and Carly means. They don't know what season that was from. They don't know who Landon is. And we kind of touched on this last night that this is like a good first round matchup in terms of 2 first place teams, 1 guy, 1 girl, and both of them. And it's definitely an upset that we had kind of pegged, but surprising to see it this close at this point.
Absolutely. And then to round out the jungle region, we have maybe the biggest lead so far in CT and West at 86% over Jill and Pete at 14%. Not really much to say there. I'm not surprised.
Not surprised. Jill and Pete won their conference tournament. Good team. Nothing more.
Spot on.
All right, so now we're moving to the top right region where we got the arena. There we go. So the first team we got in the arena, the 1 seed, Bananas and Sarah, the Rival 3 champs, coming in at 71% over 29% Mike and Leroy. I cannot believe Mike and Leroy had this high of a percentage, honestly. I know we talked about last night, Mike and Leroy's chances was probably plus 10,000, but don't sleep. There's still hope. Still time left. Go vote for Mike and Leroy if you believe in them.
I love Mike and Leroy. I mean, Bananas and Sarah are just awesome, but Mike and Leroy were just a great team to watch. They were competitive somehow as rookies, and they were going up against some big-time competitors. So they had a good season. I'm a big fan of the show they put on.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the 4 versus 5 matchup, we got Wes and Teresa trailing CT and DM. CT and DM at 59% over 41% for Wes and Teresa. Any thoughts for that?
I mean, this is where I'm starting to get a little fired up here. I'm a big Wes and Teresa guy. I know CT and DM, they have a lot of different things going for them. They finished third on that final and whatnot. But I just think if you were to ask me what team in any season had the best performance that didn't make the final, my mind instantly goes to Wes and Teresa. And I'm just kind of debating in my mind how deep I want to get here in terms of what all they did that season. But if you look back, X's 2, Wes and Teresa called every single shot that was made within the first 7-8 episodes of the season. The first 2/3, 3/4 of the season, Wes and Teresa controlled everything. They won challenges. They obviously lost in the hall brawl to Leroy and Naya, but I'm gonna be sad if they don't make it out here. It looks like they probably won't, but it's still close. I'm just a big fan of Wes and Teresa's performance on that. I think Wes played a perfect game.
Well, it was more of like Armand Galarraga, and then the perfect game was taken away by the Bananas coming in.
Yeah, they got screwed by the first ever redemption house. And Wes, think back to that season. People forget this. Wes was the only person that entire season who did not get 2 chances at the game.
Wow.
Because Teresa came back.
Well, let me go this route with you because you said 2 things that stuck out to me. Wes playing a perfect game that season. I don't think you can have a perfect game without a ring. And you know who I've always said has played a perfect season, who we've already talked about and is a higher seed, Landon and Carly. Now, perfect season can mean a couple different things. He rode the middle as far as he possibly could, and then when the rubber hit the road, he picked a side and then just stuck it out and won it all. In my mind, that's a perfect season. He was under the radar, and then when he needed to win, he won. And then the second thing that you said is the best that never made the finals are 1 seed in the dome, or not the dome, the jungle, Coral and Evan.
My perfect game, when I say Wes pitched a perfect game on X's 2, it's almost like throw every competition to the side. Like, regardless of how he did in the competitions, I'm only talking about the political moves that he made.
Sure.
You think back, because I think he won the very first challenge, which he got kind of all the rookies on his side. He lined up with Jordan and Sarah early on while they were still kind of riding the middle, Bananas and Wes. And then, I mean, the peak of that was just the classic Leroy loaded the gun, Leroy pulled the trigger. I just showed Leroy how the gun works. It's like you're the power couple.
Wow.
See, I love that. I do, but I don't think you can have a perfect game without a ring. And in my eyes, Landon was the definition of radar watch all of Fresh Meat 2, and then he won it. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just move on. I don't want this to turn into a fight. We'll see, in the upcoming weeks, which team will go first.
Whoa. No love lost.
God, no love by you lost.
All right, what's next?
All right, next matchup we got, which is currently, I think, the closest matchup. We have Wes and Casey, the 3 seed, taking on Ty and Emily. And Wes and Casey are currently trailing 49% to 51%. You do not want to go home now. And I'm surprised.
Well, and this one was actually, I think, within the first few hours, was actually more towards Ty and Emily.
Yep.
Like Ty and Emily had like 65% of the vote right now as the 6th seed. I mean, this on paper, I think is a very even matchup. You think about it, they both finished 3rd. I guess what's probably carrying Ty and Emily is just that, like, if you were to put these two teams in an elimination against each other, it's how bad fucking Casey was compared to Emily. Whereas, like, if you look at what they did on the season, I would argue that Wes and Casey were more impressive, winning all those elimination rounds and still getting 3rd place. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Because, like Trevor said, this is the closest one we have so far, and I'm not surprised because they have similar resumes, but surprised that Ty and Emily are still ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
I would be very upset if Wes and Casey don't move on.
Wow.
They had a great season. They knocked everyone out. Everyone. And Casey was 18.
God, people forget that. So
and it kind of what I think gives them even more of a boost here is just the fact that the way that format that season was with a lot of voting was the fact that they got voted into elimination every time. It wasn't like they were last place going in, which they would have because Casey sucked that much. But they were voted in every time. Like the first third of the season, their whole entire goal, the veterans, was get rid of Austin, real world Austin, and then get rid of Wes and Casey. And they were never able to do it. They kept winning. Wes was, cussing out Casey on the beach, like calling her a bitch and all that stuff. Just because, that was just peak steroid Mohawk Wes. But this one, I think, we'll be on the edge of our seats all night.
Yeah.
And it looks like the chat's pretty even, too, with its matchup.
Yeah. So looking at the last matchup, we got one of Andy's favorite teams, Wes and Kenny, taking on Darrell and Aviv. And first off, Darrell and Aviv, a 7 seed, is kind of ridiculous. It should definitely be a 4 or 5, possibly even a 3 team. Don't sleep. But Wes and Kenny off to a 58% to 42% lead in that one. Not surprising, though. Wes and Kenny, one of the greatest teams ever assembled. So I'm not surprised there. So anything else coming from the arena section?
No, this last matchup, I think early on it was like 70% Darrell and Aviv. Obviously, it's switched completely, so it'll probably keep switching that way. But overall, I think that bracket's Bananas and Sarah probably going to win. CT and DM probably going to win as a 5 seed. I mean, you might have 2 lower seeds winning that bracket, so we'll have some good matchups next week.
Yep. And looking in the last section, we got the Redemption House. And in the Redemption House, we have the 1 seed Kenny and Laurel taking on Cara and Theo, and Kenny and Laurel doing what they did most of the season and dominating Cara and Theo right now at 68% to 32%. Not surprising there, another 1 seed doing its job. Looking at the 4 versus 5 matchup, we have Cara and Laurel taking on Cara and Cook. And currently the 4 seed Cara and Laurel have a 65% tally compared to Cara and Cook at 35%. I thought this one would be a little closer. I actually really like the Cara and Cook team. I don't know why, even though obviously Cara and Laurel are a very strong team. But 65 to 35, big lead for Cara and Laurel. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it would be a little bit closer. I think maybe it's just because Paula and Emily were so dominant that season on Rivals 2 that Cara and Cook kind of fall back a little bit. But, I mean, they still finished 2nd place. And they still won, I think, 2 eliminations. Like, Cara and Cook were kind of the punching bag for all the girls every season just because nobody really liked Cara. Cook was the new girl. They voted her in a lot. So I'm surprised Cara and Laurel have that big of a lead here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was thinking maybe the Laurel factor plays a little role just because, like, Cook was not on more than – she was just on that 1 season, correct?
Correct.
Not missing any. Laurel in my mind is one of, if not the best female competitors ever be on the show. So I think the fact that if you, God forbid, you have to vote Cara in some way, shape, or form in this matchup, you might as well pick one of the best female competitors as her teammate than Cook. And I like Cook. I like Cook a lot. But I think that could be what's driving some of it.
Yeah.
Yep. So looking at the 3 versus 6 matchup, we got Bananas and Camilla versus Derek and Diem in a very close matchup. 52% to 48% in Bananas and Camilla. I think this is a good matchup. I think this is one of the good 3 versus 6 matchups where I could see go either way. You got a champion versus this was from Fresh Meat 1, correct, Andy?
Yes.
So
Team with fresh meat.
And did you see the percentages?
I said 52 to 48. Yeah.
Yeah. Close. Yeah. To be honest, I'm surprised Bananas and Camilla don't have a bigger lead here.
Agreed.
Like
I'm not mad about it.
Close, but 4%. That's
sheesh.
They won, and they won it in a very impressive fashion. They won the elimination at the end. They won a lot of challenges at the end. They beat CT and DM in the final. They beat Ty and Emily. Like, overall, I just think when I think of Bananas and Camilla on X's, I think of just a very straightforward, easy, impressive performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think one thing to consider, though, Derek and DM on Fresh Meat 1, I mean, you had some heavy hitters. We've talked about Coral and Evan, Darrell and Aviv, Wes and Casey. I mean, there were some good teams on that show as well. And I thought Derek and DM had a good season. Bananas and Camilla still had a better season in terms of the results, but Derek and DM, I thought, had a very good season. I'm a bit surprised that the voting is acknowledging that as much as it clearly is.
Yeah, 100%. And coming in our last matchup, we got Bananas and Tyler taking on Tina and Kenny, and Bananas and Tyler is dominating this matchup currently. So that is our 2021 Challenge Madness brackets. Anything else, boys, before?
I mean, what do you guys think overall? Because I guess my mind goes to the fact that most of it's chalk, but a lot of the lower seed ones I don't think we're surprised by. And like we saw just now, nothing really got super contentious because it is the first round, so that makes sense. And I feel like this next round is going to have a lot of good 1-4 matchups. And then even after that, when we get into the Elite Eight, there might be a lot more profanity on the podcast. But I think overall we got a good first round here.
Yeah, I think great matchups. For anybody wondering, the last 4 teams that did not make the tourney was Bananas and Tony, Jasmine and John A, Evelyn and Luke, and Cara and Jamie. Those were the last 4 teams cut from the tourney. So,
yeah, and we're gonna have the polls open every round from about Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. This season we did teams. Last time we did best 32 seasons of all time. So I think every time the challenge is going on during March Madness, we'll try to do some sort of bracket, but this is just going to be a segment for probably the next 4 or 5 episodes. So I'm pumped for it. And again, this one, we had 16 matchups to get through. Next time we'll have 8, and they'll all be a lot closer.
Hopefully.
And be on the lookout for MTV trying to copy this in some way, shape, or form, because I believe that happened last year.
Yeah. God. And the tweet pinned to the top of Stir the Pod, that's where the polls are. So go retweet that, tell your friends, get your votes in if you haven't voted already. It should be still open if you're listening Thursday morning, but get those votes in, and then we'll see you next week.
Yep. So next segment we got tonight is Alex?
MVP, LVP?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we had a little radar watch, a little this day in challenge history, but no. All right.
It's March. It's March.
Yeah, but we sleep in May. So, chat, you guys know what to do. It's MVP LV time presented by SeatGeek. If you want to tell us the order, we will go from there. So give us the order.
Trev, we're not challenge mania over here.
Well,
We don't have 30 minutes of ads. There we go.
Andy, Trev, Alex is what I see for the first one.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Andy, MVP, number 1, first pick.
My MVP is going to be Stir the Pot.
Wow.
I think throughout the recap of the episode, it was pretty clear the episode sucked. Episode sucked, but we're still here and we're still pumping out a decent recap. I mean, we work with what we got and we try to make it as entertaining as possible. So good for us, and that also filters into the AWLs as well. But you know what? Not only are we still putting through these shitty episodes, Challenge of Madness, starting it off. I'm fired up about it. I hope the listeners are as well, because it's going to be a blast over the next couple of weeks. So my MVP for tonight, there was none that I could pull from a very subpar episode. My MVP is going to be Stir the Pot.
Wow. I mean, I don't know how to go after that.
But I'm humble, like Fezzy. I'm humble, though. Very interesting. I wouldn't say that, but that's my pick.
My MVP tonight, and Mikey the Doctor, I mean, I feel like you always go right before me and steal my fucking picks every single time. You know, I've been high on it. I mean, how could I not do 60-minute episodes? It's what we've been asking for. I'm sick of this 90-minute bullshit. Thank God we got a 60-minute one. And you know what? The best part about it was a nice surprise. It came out of nowhere. I didn't have it on the TV guide where you saw the lines. You know, I'm just watching it on my TV, and all I see is the credits start rolling. I'm like, wait, what? And I literally had to check my phone right away, and I'm like, okay, that ain't no problem. We're good. So 60-minute episodes, the real MVP. They looked out for us tonight, especially with March Madness right around the corner. Producers, you guys were the real MVP for that. So 60-minute episodes is my MVP.
Great pick. So you guys both had non-challenger MVPs, which I think is a good route to go here, especially with an hour-long episode. My honorable mention for MVP would be the soundtrack, just that they played at the elimination in a similar way. But I think I am going to pick a challenger here for MVP. I'm going to go Nani. I don't know if there's a whole lot of other challengers that you could even pick for this episode for MVP, but I'll go Nani just because she won the elimination. We don't need to discuss again when her last elimination win was, but she usually doesn't win these things, and she is a veteran. So like usually she comes on, you know, the show, she loses at about this time of the season, about 3/4, 2/3 of the way in. But she won an elimination. She has her skull. She might be able to sneak to the final now, especially with Fezzy kind of guarding her. Fezzy. So I would say Nani MVP of the episode. And my LVP, I'm going to go Fezzy. I'm going Fezzy because the dude could not piss me off anymore if he tried. He's just so fucking annoying, like with everything he does. Some of those, and we kind of touched on it earlier, but some of those like subtitles when he was talking to Melissa or Gabby in like the little like closet hallway thing, and he was like, "You're very interested in me," and like stuff like that, like making it's always like him trying to hype himself up and like talking about how, you know, I don't know, he's just so annoying. So he's kind of been arguably an LVP of the entire season. So I'm going LVP, Fezzy. He played football at University of Tennessee. You couldn't really see much of that tonight because he was trapped up in a cage, which he quit on going against. I mean, obviously he wants to drop an East at Chattanooga, but like the fact that he's made it that obvious, LVP, Fezzy.
Great pick.
Oh, come on. My LVP tonight, and what do you know? Mikey the Doctor stole it. No, I'm just kidding. My LVP tonight has to be, it is a person. As much as I didn't want to choose a person, it is a person. And I might steal it from Andy here because this person's in a horrible spot now. The past 2 weeks have just gone downhill for this person. 2 episodes, excuse me. And it's Kyle. I think Kyle is in a horrible spot right now because, one, Anissa's probably going to go down again. You think?
You think?
Exactly. So we know he's going down, and you never know in that case of what if it's a guy's elimination? What if it's a double elimination? So I think Kyle is scared out of his mind, and not to mention, not even the whole aspect of that, but the fact that he now has to run a final with Anissa. I mean,
we don't know that. I'm sick and tired of people saying they know what the final is going to be. We don't know that.
But we have to look at it as they show it to us right now.
True.
So, could you imagine if you had to rank the teams? Could you imagine like a ranking system or whatever? And they're like, okay, since Kyle and Anissa were last, you guys have the first picks to choose whoever or something like that. How bananas would that be? God. All right, Andy, LVP, who you got tonight?
So I definitely thought you were going to take mine, but mine was not Kyle. Mine is Kyle's new partner, Anissa. She fucking sucks. I'm so done with her shtick about, oh, poor me, feel sorry for me. She's not in great shape.
Wow.
Terrible shape.
That's just a fact.
Is she the first person in cast history from season to season, her in shape body and stuff, her performance gets worse and worse and worse?
Maybe CT, but CT got better for a bit and then started going downhill, and it has now gotten better.
He looks great.
He does.
He works at it.
She stinks. She stinks more than Xavier basketball tonight. She stinks.
She really does. And it actually, like, today, it pissed me off because she's like, I just don't get how, like, I've been doing this for 14 seasons, but, like, everyone, like, says I can't run a final and, like, doesn't think I'm ready for it. So do something about it. Don't just cry about it. She literally openly said, if I have to cry my way to the finals, then I'm going to do it. Are you fucking serious? Like, that can be a strategy. Granted, it can be. But do you really think that's going to make you win it or have a partner who wants to be with you? Hell no. That's why you're getting tossed around like a fucking hot potato. No one wants to be tied to you. You're dead weight. Kyle even said that today.
Even TJ was laughing.
God, TJ was dying.
And I also got I got really pissed off at her when she was talking with Nani because she was talking about how you could tell she was like underhandedly trying to say that Fessy was trying to dump her off, but you could tell like the passive aggressive tone of, look, Nani, you're my friend. You could take him if you win. That would be hurting me. And then she said, I think her closing line of that conversation was like, you know, it's your game. Do whatever you need to do to like put yourself in a place to win, but just don't fuck me. What? Don't fuck me? I mean, it's like it just reminds me of the Michael Scott line or the Dwight Schrute line in The Office of Stanley has a heart attack. Yeah, I filled him with butter and sugar and forced him not to work out. I mean, what? This is just bananas. If Anissa realizes that no one wants to be your teammate, why don't you go run? Like, Nani is this is what, Anissa's 14th and Nani's 10th? Nani's in great shape. And if you look, she is constantly on the treadmill, constantly running. Like, no one's going to be, like, terribly upset if they have to run a final with Nani. But people are, like, actively trying to get rid of Anissa if they have to run a final with her. And that's not on others. Anissa tried pointing fingers of, like, it's on Fessy. Oh, okay, well, if Nani does it, she's not really my friend. Why don't you fucking look in the mirror? No one wants to be with you. It's on you. Do something about it.
Is that it? Or you want to keep going?
No, I'm good.
I mean, it looks like the chat wants to give you some MVP honorable mentions with that.
You know, sometimes you got to save the rant for the end of the episode, but the LVP and Anissa just really pissed me off tonight, so I had to get that one out there.
I agree, Ryan McCord. The SIGs might catch up to Nani in the final. Not to mention all the wine she's been drinking. So, anything else? And one more thing, Jesse Adams. The fact that you even asked you would take the over/under for 133. Why are you even saying the words under in that? You can only take the overs for anything. So you should know better. But with that being said, anything else?
I mean, overall thoughts, I think we had, like we said, average episode, just a weird, chopped up episode, a lot of commercials, an hour long, which nobody was expecting. But we do have Challenge Madness underway. First round matchups should be finalized tomorrow morning. I'm pumped for that. Obviously, March Madness is in the air. And we're nearing the end of the season. So I think we're in store for a good last 6 episodes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know people have been sending us stuff. The cast was on their reunion show this past weekend. I don't want to see any spoilers or anything, guys. But thank you. What if you take Jesse Adams is on my hot seat right now. But yes, I'm not stupid enough to put Xavier money line anyway because I've watched them when I went there 4 years and they suck.
The episode.
Sorry. We'll leave it for another thing. But thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us at Stir the Pod on Twitter. Shout out Duffy. Love you guys. Bye-bye.